Hey everyone, what is going on? Happy Virgo new moon. So, normally with new moons, in and around the new moon, a great time for planting seeds, intention settings, beginning a new cycle. With this particular new moon, and I want to show you this just with the transits right out of the gate, because with this energies and the transits that we're facing, you might feel a little bit like a sleepy kitty, or there might be some overwhelm or just exhaustion. And that's because we have both the sun and the moon making that opposition to Neptune retrograde. And we've talked about this a little bit in past content, especially if you watch my week ahead breakdowns, because Neptune can elicit fantasy, dreams, creativity, spirituality, but it can also be very nebulous and create illusion and projection and just pure exhaustion sometimes. So really be mindful with this new moon. And in my opinion, if you're wanting to do intention setting, new seeds to be planted, and a new cycle, I would personally wait until Monday. If we look at this, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have Monday, September 18th. The moon is going to be in Scorpio, uninhibited by Mars in the south node over the weekend when it's in Libra. It's also then going to be making a sextile to Mercury and its exaltation and its domicile, a very strong position for Mercury to be in when it's now stationed direct in Virgo. And this is also an energy that we're dealing with as well, because this lunation, given that it's in Virgo, is ruled by Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is just finishing up its retrograde cycle. It's going to be stationing direct on Friday. So there's so much that's really being called to us to pause and to reflect with this new moon. And this is something I wanted to talk about as well, because it's been coming up a lot in client sessions. And this is what I really want to focus on with this workshop, is really discerning what are our dreams, what's reality. Because honestly, what's the difference? If someone were to tell you your dream's not real, and not maybe like a dream when you were sleeping, but your dream of having a certain job, a certain family, a certain outcome to happen, if that's been your dream since you were a child, and someone told you it's not real, that probably wouldn't make any sense. If we have a belief and someone told us that's not real, how would you say, or how would you respond to that? If your belief is everyone loves me and everyone wants to support me, and someone's like, well, that's not real, how could that be true? What would you say to that? But isn't it our beliefs that lead and help us to stay in a certain frequency to achieve a certain dream? So this is what I want us to think about and to talk about, because it doesn't make sense that our beliefs wouldn't help us achieve our dreams. So thus, if our dreams are real and they are true to us, then whatever beliefs you have are real and true to you, no matter what the beliefs are. And that's the thing, again, if we're talking about Neptune, we have to be very careful of what we are taking in. If you scroll on social media right now, there's a lot of intense energy in the collective. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of scarcity. There's a lot of attacking of major entities and celebrities with all the strikes going on, and a lot of the relief that's being called for with different countries. And so that can be a lot. Never mind if there is pressure and stress from your family, from your community, from your job, from your relationship. Of course, that's going to be affecting you, especially if you're not taking time to clear that energy, especially in regards to spiritual hygiene. I was talking about this with clients the other day. And if you did not shower for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, you would probably feel and smell a certain type of way. So if you're not clearing your energy and treating your spiritual hygiene with the same love and care, it might feel like your intuitive channel is sticky and blocked. It might feel like the energy around you is very dense and that nothing is working in regards to manifestations or your beliefs or your dreams. And the spiritual hygiene can be something as simple as when you wash your hands or when you take a shower, take a bath, and say, please allow this water, the energy of this water, to cleanse me of all unaligned energy from the day. That took 10 seconds. And then you're setting yourself up to use the element of water to cleanse you. It's also interesting if you notice, if you have, this is just a little bit off topic, but still in the same thread, when it's a really intense rainstorm or a really intense shower outside, wherever you live, it's like a natural cleanse for the entire city. So you can kind of notice what's been going on in your life, and it's being reflected with an immense storm outside. It's like, cool, there's a cleanse happening right now. There's something being purified right now. I remember when I moved to one of my condos in Toronto, and as the movers were putting the final things in the truck, it was like raining. And I was like helping them, okay, let's get everything in there. I don't want anything to get wet, and I want us to get there faster. Aries moon. And then we got in the moving truck to go to my new home, and it was torrential. Like, I've never seen such heavy rain in my entire life. And then everything was moved into my new place, and then the rain stopped. And I was like, how interesting that I'm starting this new chapter in a new home, and it was such torrential rain. I'll try and find videos and post it on Stillwater's Instagram. It was actually so wild to see such heavy rain. Like, hardly anyone was on the roads. People were pulled over because the rain was that intense. And I just share that because water can be so powerful. And we're talking about Neptune, Poseidon, the energy of our emotions, the energy of our dreams, the energy of our intuition can be so intense. And we're talking about the polarity between Pisces, which is where Neptune and Saturn currently are, compared to Virgo, where we have the sun, moon, and Mercury. These are two energies that are going back and forth. And water and earth, when they combine, they can be very fertile and abundant, but too much of any one of those elements can create a lot of mud, and we can feel like we're stuck. And so if you're at a period right now where you feel like it's at a crossroads, or you're really getting close to a dream, maybe it's not here yet, and you get frustrated, or it feels like you are stuck, there's likely a reason or something that has to change, or that we get to tweak a belief that supports us. Or if we're using that mud analogy, maybe we're getting cuter shoes that can help us move through the mud. Or perhaps you play in the mud and do a little mud map or a mud mask to honor where you are at, to honor the season, to honor this lunation, to see what needs to come up for review. Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the ruling planet of this lunation. What needs to be healed, finessed, Virgo and Pisces, to help you along your path, to make something easier, to make something more flow, more natural. And I have two analogies, one from Sex and the City, of course. So it's an example of how our beliefs can keep us stuck in the mud, let's say. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the first movie. So there's that scene where Carrie and Charlotte are shopping for a desk for Carrie. And then Carrie asks Charlotte, hey, Harry's been saying that you haven't been running lately. Is everything okay with the baby, your pregnancy? Because, of course, we know as longtime fans of the show that Charlotte has had her own journey of trying to conceive naturally. And then she breaks down and says, no one gets everything that they want. Look at you, look at Miranda. You're such good people, and these horrible things happen to you. And she's terrified that she'll lose the baby because no one can have it all, which is inhibiting her from running, from exercising, from doing something that she loves, from enjoying her life, enjoying her pregnancy. And then Carrie says, you shit your pants this year. Maybe you're done. And I think that's a beautiful sentiment, one of really just fine-tuning things, but also it's a very visceral energy, because I personally believe, from a professional opinion, that the character of Charlotte has a lot of water in her chart. And I've talked about this in past content, and that water energy is very susceptible to other people's energy. And with this direct aspect to Neptune, you can feel very porous or very sensitive to your surroundings. And so if you're around friends, family, colleagues that are of a certain frequency, that have certain fears, whatever that is, it is seeping into you, maybe more than normal, where it feels like maybe I shouldn't go after that new promotion or ask for more money or pursue this relationship because all these other people are struggling so hard right now, or I shouldn't ask for more. That's not the right thing to do right now. I'm not doing enough. I need to work even harder to make sure I make ends meet, whatever the narrative is. And if you're feeling that more strongly now than ever, that can be helped to be explained with this Neptune opposition. And trust that this is going to get easier. But I would personally use these 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to see what's coming to the surface. You might also be sleeping the entire time, which is great because there's a new season literally being birthed, especially once Mercury stations direct and starts going. It's one of the strongest positions for Mercury to be in. It's making that trine to Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto. There's so much power and energy and precision that's going to be happening very, very soon. So if you are tired, if you are exhausted, if you are burnt out, sleep. 4 days is no time at all. I know for me, I felt very aligned, very intuitive. I just came back from Calgary, came back from Banff, the mountains. It was very magical, a very, very fun time. I felt very recharged. And even I have been sleeping a lot. I was napping in between clients. I was going to take a quick nap before I film this because I don't ever want to do content when I'm exhausted or do things out of obligation. I want to feel fresh and bright and amazing. And I just passed out for 6 hours. I was like, oh, so much for my 1 hour nap. But it's just, I'm also a human experiencing this transit as well. And a 1 hour nap turned into 6. And that hasn't happened in a long time. I usually am very in tune with my body. But it's fun when Neptune just takes the wheel and says, you're going to sleep. Now, for another analogy, it's from Charlie's Angels, the first movie. So again, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the first Charlie's Angels movies, but it came out in the year 2000. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a vibe. There's a final scene in the first movie where all the girls and Bosley are at the beach having cocktails, and Cameron Diaz's character is like, Charlie, how will we know if you're ever real if you don't come down here and enjoy a coconut with us? And then Drew Barrymore's character looks, and she's pretty positive that she sees Charlie for the first time. And Charlie responds, faith, angels. It's called faith. And that scene always gives me chills and borderline makes me cry because Charlie's voice is kind of like the voice of God. The 3 actresses are like the angels, and then they're protecting the world. And that voice of Charlie Townsend, that actor, is just phenomenal. And that voice is very resonant. And when we're going after something and we can't see it, but we're so confident that it's our purpose, it's our mission, it's our biggest dream. And we're talking, whether it's with God, with your own higher self, whatever you communicate with when you're having those moments of doubt, it's just so powerful. It's like, this is faith. No one else can see this. No one else is meant to understand this but you. And when you have those moments of doubt or those seasons of doubt or confusion or like it's not working, that's when you get to go inward or maybe go to a beach and have a drink and just relax. Because I know for me, and this happened recently, a day or 2 days ago, I was eating dinner. I was very relaxed. So I made this beautiful dinner for myself. And I was watching the morning show. And Reese Witherspoon, my Aries queen, hello, Legally Blonde, forever and always. And I had this moment where I could literally feel myself, and I'm not sure if any of you have felt this before. It was like this flash of me being in a different timeline, in my desired dream timeline that I've been cultivating for many, many moons now. And I just had to pause. I was like, whoa. It was almost like I was dreaming. And I've had this before where I can physically feel myself in a different reality. And it just really made me feel something I haven't felt in a long time because I was like, oh, this is coming very soon. This is happening. And I'm sharing this because I want to recall the steps that I was doing something to put myself in a relaxed state. I was cooking for about 30, 45 minutes, and then I was doing something that I enjoyed, watching an entity, an energy that I really resonate with. And I was in the receiving mode to then feel something quite profound. And that was all I really needed as kind of like a breadcrumb to know that I'm on the right path, that everything is working, that just because there might be a perceived roadblock right now, that everything is always working. And I just get to enjoy this part of the journey, this pit stop. And that's really what I want you to take away from this new moon, is that it's okay for you to rest. It's more than okay for you to rest, to release, to unwind, to see what doubts, fears, and beliefs are currently being presented for you to clear. so that that doesn't have to be a reality anymore, or that you can receive the support that you need, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, to assist you moving forward, so that those paradigms or these blocks or perceived obstacles or real obstacles no longer have to provide such a barrier between you and your dreams. Because that is, Virgo can be very cerebral, like and want to have all the facts together, but Pisces is very romantic, very spiritual, very creative, spiritual, romantic, all the things. So sometimes when Pisces feels something, it doesn't make sense on paper, and Virgo's like, no, we need the logistics, we need this to have a plan. Sometimes the plan you need to throw out. You, it's great to be organized and prepared, but to have a mindset or a belief that is causing you to hit the same roadblock again and again and again, that's when we get to ask for divine intervention. That's when we get to release to a higher power. That's when we get to experience miracles that are supporting us along our journey. We'll just see if there's any cards that want to come through, because I hear you all. I know you love the tarot. So there's this energy of cherries, like a bowl of cherries. Well, there's like the singular double cherries, and I feel like this came up last time, but I guess it needs to come up again. Cherries, red, root chakra, new beginnings. Also, cherries can have like a sexual tone to them. So there's something either primal, sexual, creative that's wanting to come through, or a new start, something that feels exciting. That's likely something that's been coming through, or something you can get behind or kind of like bite into. For some, it might be romance, for some, it might be creative, for some, it might be both. Like a creative partnership that doesn't need to be romantic. The numbers 6 and 8 are coming through. 8's been coming through for a lot of people. So like 8 weeks from now, like the beginning or midway of Scorpio season, can be very powerful or create a lot of change. There's a lot of good transits when we get to Scorpio season, astrologically speaking. So that could also be maybe a timeline where it's like my entire life's going to change in 8 weeks, if not sooner. Stay the course. Cause, the word cause, C-A-U-S-E. What's your cause, the cause of this? Maybe questioning why you're having to go through such pain or like such struggle. It's like, why? What is the cause? What's the reason? That coming through, maybe finding that out, or being able to look back in 8 weeks from now and understand why you had to go what you're going through right now. And then believe is another word that keeps coming through. We just talked about beliefs. But believing in something, believing in a higher power, believing in your dream, believing in what you're meant to be here is going to serve you. And then there's like a pentagon, but it's almost like a snowflake or an icicle is in that shape, which is fun because we were talking about like slowing down. Ice is like freeze, like there's really no need. But also, like, I'm not sure if you ever did this when you were a kid, if you grew up in a place with snow or ever seen snow, where you just like literally stop and look at the snowflakes and it being like so peaceful and romantic. And the notion like how every snowflake is different, but also too like how you talk to water. If you talk to snow, how it can affect the shape. Talking to your subconscious, talking to yourself, talking to your dreams is going to elicit a different reaction, is going to cause a different experience. Some people could be watching snow and be depressed and angry, wanting it to be summer. Some people could be looking at snow and think it's the most beautiful romantic energy they've ever experienced. When I was 20, I studied abroad in Brisbane, Australia. We had an exchange program between Saskatchewan, the prairies of Canada, and Australia. And I remember the next year when I came back, a girl from Australia, her name was Nikki, she came to Saskatoon. And when it was snowing, she had this little jacket on, and we're talking like minus 40 degrees with the wind chill. And I'm like, are you okay? Like, it's freezing. She's like, no, oh my gosh, I love this. I've never seen snow. This is amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's just such an interesting opinion of people who, what I'm trying to say here is like what we perceive as challenging or difficult for someone else for the first time of playing in that energy. They're like, oh, this is so much fun. Like I get to do this for the first time. And I feel like that's our soul a lot of the time. Like when we're going through something, the human part of us, I'm like, we want this to be over. We want this to be done. This is not comfortable. This is not enjoyable. But then our soul, our spirit is like, no, this is so much fun. This is a challenge or an obstacle that we get to overcome, or this is something I've never experienced before. Let's go all in. And the human is like, and this would be done. I just want to move forward. I don't want to be in this anymore. So take that if it resonates. Let's pull a couple cards. 1, 2. Basically, like enjoy the snow or like the snowstorm. Okay. The sun. with Temperance and the King of Pentacles reversed. So for some of you, it might be calling in extreme wealth, a partner who's worldly, wanting to get to a higher position in life. It's coming. It might also be coming here during Sagittarius season. Temperance is a card that represents Sagittarius energy, but there needs to be this balance to feel complete, to feel alive, to be happy. And for me, the Temperance, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot in the physical. What did we just talk about? Charlie's Angels. And now the angel appears. So maybe go watch the first Charlie's Angels movies or watch the TV show from back in the day. The new one, it's fine. But the original movies are a vibe. With Temperance, it's balancing the spiritual and the physical. If you feel like things in the spiritual realm are not working, perhaps work on your spiritual practice and vice versa, so that we are creating this balance of doing the spiritual work, but getting to live the human experience. And that King of Pentacles reversed, if there's something, if you're focusing on money or status or work or accomplishments and going higher, perhaps this moon and the next couple of days aren't the time for that. You get to focus on having fun, on rebalancing your energy, or quite simply, go on a holiday, have a vacation, enjoy yourself. You don't even need to travel to have a holiday. You get to be a tourist in your own city, rest, relax. It's fine. You don't need to worry about finances right now. What you need to focus on is your vitality, your energy. Remember, a new moon is the sun and the moon conjunct. Virgo loves the details. It loves to get organized, but sometimes we get to throw away the plan and just be. Tap into that intuition. What is it that you're wanting right this second? It can be something so random and sporadic. I personally would try and avoid social media. There's a lot of energy on there right now. If you don't need to be on there, you don't need to do it. If you can wait a couple of days before you set specific intentions, a lot is going to be changing. If you need the rest, rest. With this workshop, I felt called to provide an exercise or some homework as opposed to a meditation, because I think this is really going to help. So if we're talking about dreams in regards to Neptune and what we're really wanting, the exercise, and I'm going to write this down in the description of this video. The exercise is going to be write down your biggest dream or dreams. It could be dreams across the board. What is it? Step 2, write down either the fears, the doubts, the roadblocks, the limiting beliefs that are currently in your periphery or right in front of your face. And then step 3 is, are these actually real? Or are these a story or an old paradigm that I keep reinforcing? And I'll give a personal example. I'll be vulnerable here. So I've said this before in content that this past year, like the past 11, 12 months, have been very challenging with regards to my health. I've been in a lot of clinics. I've been seeing a lot of doctors. There's been a lot going on, but I've also faced a lot of change in my life in different parts everywhere. And so at one point, I got a little scared. I'm like, what if this never changes? What if my body doesn't heal? And also, too, what if this gets worse and I don't get to go after my biggest dreams that I've been pursuing and wanting my entire life? But then I thought, my body is so resilient. My body is so powerful. It's proven this on multiple occasions. And I've gone through some pretty intense surgeries before in my past, or operations or pain. But I will say the pain I've experienced both physically and spiritually this year has been very, very intense. But I knew in the past that I was able to make it through, that I'm always protected. I have been meeting new people, amazing people that have been supporting me. People that I never would have met had I not moved to Vancouver. So receiving that intuitive download in December of last year to move blessed me exponentially, because even though it has been very, very challenging, I now have acquired sharper tools, a stronger mindset, and have met incredible people. But in those moments, the fear, the doubt was, what if I don't get better? What if I don't heal? What if it gets worse? And then I was able to reverse engineer and say no, and affirm this. So I was doing this every day. I've been praying so much. I've been praying more than I've ever prayed before to my spirit team, guardian angels, archangels, to God, to goddess, to source. And I'm smiling because like it just seems so obvious. And it's also like This takes no time at all. That would be like having a direct landline, like pulling out your phone and getting to communicate with your guardian angels. Like, hey, I could really use your support. I really need help. Please help me. That divine support, that divine intervention is always, always there. That can be a bonus question or a bonus homework, is like, how often are you praying? How often are you talking to a higher energy, a higher power that is blessing you exponentially? Even if you don't necessarily believe in God, source, universe, you can be communicating with your higher self. You can be communicating with your future self to ask for support, to ask for guidance on what it is you need to do to get to this next step of your journey. I would highly recommend it. It completely changed my life. And prayer, you can also just say, is another word for manifestation, with conversation, whatever it is. But to take a measly 5 minutes out of your day to communicate with a higher power that has more power and influence and miraculous energy available to any other source on this timeline, I think is a good practice, don't you? And if for whatever reason you feel like you're completely in flow, that there are no obstacles, everything is going beautifully, amazing. Then your homework with this Virgo new moon is just to sit in peace and to sit in that grateful energy of complete alignment for 5 minutes, 3 times a day, at least for the next 4 days, as we move through this Virgo new moon energy, receive downloads. And I mean, you can also add this, even if you are working through the doubt and the limiting beliefs, of just adding in periods of 5 minutes of basking, everything else that's been going well in your life. And if you have your health and no pain, your body's fully functional, you're healthy, wealthy, sit in that ambiance too, because that can also be a manifestation of this King of Pentacles reverse, is you're not seeing actually how blessed and amazing your life truly is. Maybe you're just so focused or so clouded by one thing that you really, really want that isn't physically here yet, that it might be distracting you from everything else in your life that's going well, or kind of caught up in the ego, the status, the greed, the connotations of the King of Pentacles reverse. That we're not enjoying a beautiful day. Even right now, I'm filming this, 6:48 a.m. And it's like this beautiful sunrise with this like cotton candy sky. I'm like, oh yeah, and the water is so still. It's so beautiful. So just look outside. One last Sex and the City reference. Charlotte is talking about like life in the park with Anthony. What she's going to do is trying to get pregnant. And then she looks up and it's the most beautiful autumn day. She's like, when did it become fall? And just seeing the beauty around us. I know this can be like very redundant, but I think it's true sometimes that, and this is also what I've been doing this past year as well, if you want me to be honest, is looking at other parts of my life that are going extremely well, and also honoring every good day, because there were days when I couldn't get out of bed for hours. It was very, very painful. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit in this bed for a couple hours. I don't need to get out right now. And then when I'd have a really good day without pain, I'm like, oh, we're jamming. This is such a beautiful day. I'm going to enjoy this so much. So take that for resonates, where you have a good day, a good hour, a good moment. We sit in that. We expand on that. We give gratitude to that, so that moving forward, that becomes more of our base frequency. We attract more healers, more blessings, more miracles to help sustain that frequency. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you all for joining. Let me know what resonated. If you have any additional questions in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to them. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Thank you all. Bye for now.